It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, as in weather, sponsored by Marco's Pizza. We're talking about another slice of nice ahead. Did you get outside today? Did you, by a show of hands, did you have lunch outside? I did. I don't know if you did, but I was under an umbrella. I had some shade, but it felt good. It felt better than it did the day before. I've got evidence for that too, but I'd love to know what you have to share with me, because we can put your comments on the screen pretty easily. In fact, I have some comments from Tabitha. I believe this was from last night. Said, I got to check them out. I don't know what she wanted to check out, but maybe you want to check out First Warning Live. We're glad to have you. We'll put your name on the comments here, but I got to show you this, right? This is the high temperature today. We hit 85. The normal high is 90. So even from just a temperature standpoint, we were 5 degrees cooler. That's nice, right? Record high set back 14 years ago, 102. Well, you didn't hit 102 today. In fact, if you go back and look at 3 o'clock today, 3 p.m. at Norfolk International, that was the peak heat index for Norfolk International. It was 88, but that's 10 degrees cooler than it was on Sunday, just 2 days ago. I know it's making your mind blow. It's like amazing. It felt like 98 Sunday, felt like 95 yesterday at one point in the afternoon, but it felt like 88 today. And oh yes, you got a big story to talk about. It's the rip current risk. Boo. It's like you got nice weather, but then you got these rip currents. I have no control over that. But when it's high, and usually the intensity of those rip currents are typically centered around low tide, which is just about 2 minutes after 1 o'clock tomorrow, expecting winds 5 to 15 and surf height 2 to 4 feet. So you've got some reasons, and I mean good reasons, to think about listening to the beach patrol, by listening to the lifeguards. If they're saying, hey, get out. If you're going in places where there are no lifeguards, you really need to be aware, right? This is important because it's dangerous. And when it's high, and there is a lot of trumpets being sounded right now that tomorrow it's going to be high. So just to kind of recap, maybe you're just visiting from out of town. It's not going to be like that for the rest of the week. It was moderate today. It'll be moderate on Thursday, but by the time we get to Friday and Saturday, it's going to be low. So those are the things we're watching as far as the rip currents. And let me show you another way to animate this. We'll go to the beach, right? This is about as close of a beach I can present for you. And boom, rip currents. Now that's not me. I'm usually the guy with the tie out on the beach on the oceanfront. You've seen the promo. Okay, so this guy who maybe looks like me, maybe 20 years ago, but this is the guy who's out in the middle of the water and you're going, I don't know what to do. There's a panic. There can sometimes be a panic. Exhaustion, sometimes even the best of swimmers, because from what I'm reading from websites from NOAA, that you can have rip current speeds 1 to 2 feet per minute. Or is it per second? It's per second, 1 to 2 feet per second, or 7 or 8 feet per second. That's even stronger than an Olympic swimmer. So there's no shame in the fact that if you've ever been caught in a rip current, it's scary. But that's what we want to make sure you're aware of. And of course, we always encourage you to swim parallel, act like you're a tourist, right? You want to swim parallel to the shore to escape the current. Don't fight it. If it pulls you out like a vacuum cleaner initially, that's okay. Just don't panic. But at some point you could float, turn over, and maybe swim parallel to the shore. That's the best way. And again, we've already talked about the highest rip current risk usually occurs around low tide. Does that make sense? I'm just checking in. I want to check in with your comments. I'm going to go back to the maps and keep moving. But I also want to mention I can't do this without my sponsor. My sponsor is Marco's Pizza. Love Marco's Pizza. We're giving away free pizza this week. They have 5 locations that are participating in the contest. But those 3 in Virginia Beach have phone numbers attached to right here, here, and here. So your Virginia Beach Boulevard, Princess Anne Road, and Independence Boulevard, plus 1 in Norfolk, 1 in Kempsville Road. And all you have to do is go to our webpage. If you want to win, go to our webpage, WTKR.com/Marcos, and you could be eligible to win. Now, if you don't win the free pizza, by the way, that looks like this, you get a certificate. And since it is now almost August, but you could have a free pizza in July, we'd punch a card there, and then August, and you get 12 months. You get 12 months of 1 large, 1 topping monthly pizza. It's free. I love the word free. And if you like free more, I got free cheesy bread for the first 100 that take me up on this offer. This is first 100 people. No purchase necessary. If you go to marcos.com this evening, you just use the word promo code at checkout. WTKR, that's our call letters, plus the word cheesy with a Z. WTKR Cheesy, you've got yourself a whole set of delicious cheesy bread with a dipping sauce. I love it. If you haven't tried it, I would encourage you. You're not only getting weather in this presentation, but you're also getting some free bread. Well, cheesy bread. We're throwing cheese on the bread. It's delicious. You got to try it. If you haven't been on there, I want to share that with you. By the way, I'm just checking in some comments. I want to see if you're on the call. Doing my best to kind of magnify your voice. I've already put one comment on there. It was from last night. But this is kind of the sobering reality. I mean, how many of you would have thought that rip currents nationwide takes more people than tornadoes? You're like, no, tornadoes kills more than anybody. No, that's not true. Heat takes away more. 238, that's the average in the last 10 years. So from 2015 to 2024, these numbers coming by way of NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, but heat by far and away. And the heat's coming back. It'll be here Friday. It'll be here Saturday. And so on. I got some notes here. I got a smiley face from Lindsay Angel. Want to say happy face to you right back. Sabrina Williams says, please be very, very careful and aware of rip currents. Thank you, Sabrina, because it does need that message needs to get out. Because it's number 3, right? After heat, and we know what the Guadalupe River has done in Texas, right? Over 4th of July, that we're still missing people. Floods is a huge concern. Heat is a huge concern. We cannot dismiss rip currents. And this is the time when you look at the statistics, and I've showed this to you as recently as yesterday, but I'll put it on the screen again. We've lost 192 people in 25 years. That averages out just under 8 per year. All right, 8 fatalities. That's not just a number. It's not just a statistic. These are 192 people with first and last names we've lost to something as what would seem benign. Oh, I'm just going to the beach. But you get pulled out, and people get panicked. They lose control. They get exhausted, and they succumb to the rip. And so to break it, it's best to swim parallel to the shore. So 8 people per year. What is that? Let me see if I come back on camera for a second. I was just doing this, my mindset here. I'm thinking, okay, if that's 8 per year, it's like 2 in June, 2 in July, 2 in August, let's say. That's what, every other week? We can't afford that, right? I don't think anybody should be losing their life just because they go to the beach, right? So Sabrina, I want to bring her name up on here a second. She's absolutely right. Please be very, very careful. All right, that's the serious side of this live stream. I just want to talk about the great weather, which we'll have again tomorrow. But you also be mindful that if you're going swimming and you're visiting us from out of town, we want you to be safe. And it's very important to listen to the lifeguards and the beach patrol because they might have you out of the water for a brief time. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But I do want to keep you posted as we go through not only tonight, but I'll find out what people are doing or talking about come tomorrow. All right, so let me go back to, let me see. I just need to toggle on this post because some of the comments I'm getting are coming in great. I appreciate everybody's notes here. Let's turn this back on. I do know I have some comments here. Yep, I've got a couple here. So let's go ahead and view that, and I'll put you back on the screen. Sabrina, there she is. I believe she's on here. Yep, and I'll fly back in here. She says, be very, very careful, aware of rip currents. So, I mean, we could talk about this for a length of time, but you get the point. Just be extra careful. And it might not be you. It might be someone who's little, maybe an elementary, middle school kid that doesn't know how to do this. So it's just really important to reiterate this time of year. I mean, in July, when people are off and it's summer months, to make sure people are safe. All right, so we go back. We've talked about lightning, tornadoes. We've talked about floods and heat. But did you know the temperature right now is pretty nice when your actual temperature matches pretty much what, 80, 82, 81, 84. I mean, this looks pretty good to me. I don't see triple digit anything here, right? Elizabeth City, it's actually 81 right now. Feels like 82. So there you have it. And then you look at some of the other numbers, Suffolk not reporting. Moyoc feels like 82, and it's actually 80. So if you're on the call, love to say hi to you. I got a note from Lindsay. I think she's smiling on here. She's got a smiley face. It may be small. Maybe if we get the other image, we'll get it much bigger. Kim, I haven't seen Kim. Maybe she was there yesterday. Here she is. She says, today was a little more bearable. Oh, that's some progress. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate the honesty. She said it was a little more bearable. Now, what have I been talking about since last Thursday? I said that whatever preview that we got this week, around the 19th, 20th, 20th, this is 22nd now, it's a couple of days later, I said we're going to get some relief in the early part of August. Sometime during the first 10 days of August, I still believe you're going to say, it feels good, doesn't feel like August. The humidity is going to come down and the temperatures will come down in August, the first couple of days, say 7 to 10 days, And some of you say, hey, it's pretty nice. And maybe you'll say it was a little more bearable in August. But what will come in play is ragweed pollen. So if you're an allergy sufferer, you can assume that things will get more uncomfortable in that department. All right, I got to get back to the temperatures because we were just talking about these numbers. This gives us an illustration of where we are. Nags Head, 78 feels like 81. All right, here's where I'm expecting to be. This is mind-blowing if you think that, well, the present equals the future. No. I mean, yes, the present is comfortable tonight. It'll be comfortable tomorrow. We had a feels like of 88 today. It will be about 88, 89 tomorrow. But then it goes to 104, 106 Saturday, 103 Sunday. And again, those numbers can change very easily just with the increase or decrease of the water vapor and the dew point temperature. So normal high is 89. We will be likely in the low to mid 90s across the board. But this is the weather that I would assume the likes of Denmark not going to be happy about, or Kim, she's not going to be happy about these 3 days. But that's why I say carpe diem, seize the day today, tonight, and seize it tomorrow, because it's going to be a lot better, at least tomorrow. Then it gets a lot more progressively hotter and steamier going down the road. And if you're doing some lawn mowing, maybe that's what you're going to do tonight, because you know what? The sun sets tonight at 8:19. It's currently 7:51. You got a little less than a half hour to get out and mow the lawn tonight. Maybe you're just going to do the front yard, backyard, side, whatever. But I would say you're going to have to face more sweat with Friday and Saturday. It's not the storms that are going to slow you down Friday and Saturday, but you will be sweating simply because I just showed you 104, 106. I mean, anybody, if you're human, you're going to have more sweat Friday and Saturday. So those days are probably lawn mowing days, probably want to scratch off. And that's the only time you can do it. It's the only time you can do it. I know these sometimes play a role in how that plays out. All right, some other comments that might be coming in. Ooh, Sabrina's got a follow-up. I got a follow-up. She says, don't get too comfortable. That second and third wave heat is on the way. It's true. It's going to come back, and it's much like the tide at the beach, right? When you're at the ocean front, you know you get low tide, you get high tide. It's not consistent, unless maybe you're on a lake in the middle of nowhere. But here, we get tides, and sometimes that can play another role in the big scheme of things. So let me keep moving, but thank you so much for that comment, Sabrina Williams. She's on here, and we've been looking at lawn mowing. We've been also looking at this big blue H. Where is that big blue H? It is just now on the northern fringe of New Jersey, really over southeast New York State and parts of Pennsylvania. But here, we were looking at, during the evening news, a little stray shower that came down to Onancock, eastern shore. It may be just past to the south of Tangier Island. It looked like it was headed toward Gwen's Island. And it did. And now it's sliding across northern Matthews County. Matthews County, because I've done some spotlights. Matthews County, what do I know about Matthews? I do know they have no traffic lights. You say, what? No traffic lights? Who has one of those? I can tell you because I've done these spotlights, right? Having gone to these towns, I learned things I wouldn't have known if I just stayed in the studio. So why would I want to do that? I want to go out and see, and that's what these pictures behind me are reflecting, that I've had a chance to do and see some of these cool towns. So we look at the town I went to, not that long ago. It was number 7, Matthews. I can tell you that there's no traffic lights. If you go up there, it's very beautiful. Go up to Chesapeake Bay. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Go back to the maps. It could be rolling now into northern Gloucester County. It looks like it is. So the one lonely stray shower we've got tonight is on your screen. It's sliding from northeast to west. And it's really kind of like following that big area of high pressure, which is rotating winds clockwise. So it's clockwise pushing it into northern Gloucester County, but Gwen's Island had a shower, no doubt. And we talked about this last night. I said this is going to be a nothing burger. National Hurricane Center has now removed any coloring. This was a 20% chance on Sunday. It was then a 10% chance yesterday. Now it's nothing. It's just some disorganized clouds. Could it find new life down the road? Anything's possible, but I can tell you there's nothing to report on the hurricane front. So we're still watching on Dexter Watch. Nothing to see in Dexter. We've already had Chantal, Barry, and Andrea, but the Atlantic storm timeline typically peaks in the first 10 days of September. Late August, early September, historically has been when most of the activity on the tropical storms and hurricanes typically tend to form. So if you're going to be surprised when we get into late August, where are all these tropical storms? This isn't normal. This is normal. This is history. History teaches us that's when things typically occur. If any comments, you got something you want to note? Let's see here. Who else I got on here? Oop, I got a note. I think this is Taj. Taj is on here. Yes, I don't know if he's crestfallen, but I'm happy you're here, Taj. Thank you for your sense of humor. I appreciate you very much. Who else is on here? We mentioned Kim says today was a little more bearable. Sabrina Williams is saying she's agreeing with me. I appreciate you, and I do want to keep moving because I want to keep this entertaining for those who might watch this on delay and may not be watching us live. So let's keep the pace moving. Headlines really puts this in play. More please, more what please? More nice weather on behalf of Kim, Denmark, and all those that don't like. Kim Thompson-Jones says it was bearable, a little more bearable. We're going to get another slice of nice tomorrow. Now that might be extra calories around the waistline. I can't help that, but another slice of nice tomorrow is okay. Turning hotter on Thursday. We're going to be in the upper 80s. But then it's hot and steamy by the time we hit Friday when the triple digits come back. We've kind of already highlighted what that looks like, but I will revisit that in a few slides before we get to the 7-day. Hang with me. There's that little shower I mentioned around Matthews County to northern Gloucester and really southeastern sections of Middlesex County, getting a brief little shower. There was some hope that maybe we'd see some sprinkles around Rodanthe. If they did get a shower, it seems like it's gone now. Maybe Hatteras could get in the path of one of those brief showers, but most of the rain you can see is back towards Charlotte or Columbia or into South Carolina. There's no threat for severe weather tonight, there's no severe weather threat tomorrow locally, and there's no severe weather threat on Thursday. So that keeps it nice, that keeps it simple. Here's another look at the national scene. I want to share some information I did not show you, haven't shown you in a long time. There is some severe weather. Looks like a tornado warning, if I have this correctly, up in Minnesota. You have to squint to see it. But this is for Traverse County till 7:30 Central Time. Hail size is just smaller than a penny. That's where the less than 0.75 comes in. It affects maybe 240 people. But we have so many people in the military. I'm curious to know, if you're curious, what's it like back home? I don't know where home is. If home is Texas, they've got some rain in the southwestern sections of the state. It's very rainy in parts of South Florida right now, if that's where home is for you. Maybe you're in the Florida-Georgia line. You're looking at areas around Valdosta, heavy rain around Dothan. There's some downpours not too far from Myrtle Beach, but it's not really necessarily affecting us here. Also maybe down toward the Savannah Bananas, they're dealing with some banana weather with some rain and storms. So who knows what you're seeing, but that's what I see on the radar front. We're going to keep moving because I want to see what you have want to talk about on this Tuesday, the 22nd of July. Got a couple of notes here. Sabrina says yes. Kim says here, she's followed up on a note here. She says, I'm not looking forward to the weekend temps. Weekend is, we all look forward to the weekend. It's just that you might have to spend a little more extra time in the air conditioning via your car, your truck, or your home. Just keep the air conditioner going and maybe limit the outdoor activity. That's because the afternoons tend to be a lot worse than the mornings. Does that make sense? I mean, I won't write the weekend off because the rain is limited, but we will have a better chance of rain, it looks like, on Sunday, with a 30% chance at that. Now, meanwhile, we've talked about the drought monitor in a long time. Haven't talked about this. Do we have any drought conditions in the local area? The answer is no. I do see some yellow patches, what looks like they're up in Maryland, a couple of yellow patches in southern Maine. I want to go back to an area that I've spent 15 years raising my kids here. It was in Knoxville. There's some dry areas here. This is what they call level 1 out of 5 levels, and you might be wondering, where am I getting that? Well, this is their legend here. So if you think of the yellow as abnormally dry, if it turns brown, it's moderate, and if it's orange, it's severe, extreme, exceptional. But the dryness that they're experiencing in parts of East Tennessee really is just level 1. It's not that bad. Bigger picture shows where it's really bad is Southwest Texas. Those areas could really use some rain. We heard obviously about the flooding of the Guadalupe, but this is the story area in parts of New Mexico and even around Vegas, which is a desert. They could still use some rain. These are the hot spots. These come out every Thursday, so this is really reflective of last week, but they could use some rain in northern Idaho, western Montana, and so it goes. So just looking at that, keeping you informed about what's going on around the country. Now, as far as our rainfall, the reason we are not, I repeat, not under any kind of concern for drought is we've already had 4 inches, roughly, of rain so far this month, and this is typically with a 6.08 average. This is usually the soggiest month of the year. We just have come off a weekend where we had a quarter and a third last Friday and last Saturday. We had a trace of rain occur during the course of yesterday. So if you're keeping track, July and August, and really to some extent September, are in fact the wettest months. Is it coincidental that those are big hurricane months or tropical storm months? It could be. That could also skew the averages. But by far and away, when we had the snowstorm, that February is usually the driest month on average based on 30 years of weather data. High temperatures today hit 85. It was 86 in Chesapeake, Greenbrier. Virginia Beach hit 85 today, while the hot spot might have been Williamsburg at 90 today and 87 for Franklin. But if you're playing the home game version, it's really 5 to 14. Not what you would normally expect, but given the fact that we've had now 7 90-degree days this month, the hottest one being the 96 there in the second week here over on the, let's see, this day. So this is what, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 8th of July was the hottest day of this month, but we have a potential to get back to around 94 later this week. So if you're keeping track, we did not hit 90 today. We had 1 in April, 2 in May, 12 whopping days in June, and 7 days back in July. The hottest day so far still is June 26th when it was 99 degrees. So some hot stuff there, no doubt. Let's see here. Who else have I got on here? I'm going to say hi. Okay, so we talked about Sabrina, talked about Taj, and Kim saying she's not looking forward to the hot temperatures that are still coming because we still have another round to get to before we can actually get to August. Speaking of the hot days, this is not unusual, even though we've had now, 22 days, 7 total. We're going to add that up tomorrow. Rather Friday, Saturday, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably another 5 or 6. We could have an average July, which typically is about 14 or 15 days when we hit 90 in the month, which is representative of about half the entire month is 90 plus. So this is not unheard of. We typically see 36 days in a calendar year, so it's not unheard of to get that kind of heat anytime soon. By the way, if you haven't downloaded our free News 3 First Warning Weather app, I hope to encourage you to do so. Pair it with the NOAA Weather Radio, a great tool to have so that you get weather updates all the time. Also want to mention to you, we got free cheesy bread. Did I mention free cheesy bread? Oh yeah, WTKR Cheesy, Marco's Pizza, giving back to the community. Wanted to give everybody within the sound of my voice a free cheesy bread, but there's a limitation to the first 100. So since we started doing this yesterday, this is a cumulative amount of those 5 stores we talked about at the top of this live stream. So 1 per household, no purchase necessary. Would love to have you check out the cheesy bread, and you can actually get that cheesy bread at any one of these 5 locations, 3 in Virginia Beach, 1 in Greenbrier, Chesapeake, and 1 in Norfolk. Of course, they can be found at marcos.com. And if you want to register, we're going to be giving away free pizza for a year. A certificate will be going out on Thursday. So excited about that. And that's what this certificate looks like. Very thankful for Marcos because they are a great partner and have been giving back to the community. Just to give you an idea, when I worked in Knoxville, they were giving money back to a children's hospital. They give back to the military. They give back. Marcos is community oriented. And if you've been a winner of free pizza, then you can attest to yourself and say, yeah, they give back because maybe you've been able to enjoy some of the free pizza and pozzolis. We've given them, I think, $5 each last week. So our temperatures right now, we go back to these numbers. These are the comfortable numbers. We've hit 78 in Chesapeake here at 8:03, 79 in Chapanoke, and 79 in Elizabeth City. You might say, hey, this feels pretty good. I could take a summer like this if every day was like this, but you know and I know it's not. And the feels like temperature really isn't much different. Again, to look at it before, 79, 78, 79. I'm looking at Portsmouth. I'm looking at Norfolk and Hampton. It feels like it's about 82 or 81. It's not that different given the fact the dew points are in the 60s. And in that value, in those numbers, it's a little easier to take. It's still humid. It's not October. It's not autumn yet. But what's sad is that we're going to see this bounce right back up to 75 in just a couple of short days. So you're looking at 3 days from now when the heat and the humidity are back as a combo. Some of you are going to be like, enough's enough. I'm ready to move on. Maybe that's the case, but this oppressive heat is going to be coupled with the humidity. And so my expectation is to go from 68 for dew points. They were down to 66 today for a couple of hours. It was 66 last night when we were live streaming. 70 on Thursday, should be bouncing in low to mid 70s, which would put us in the unpleasant to miserable territory. Some of you know what that's like, and I just wanted to emphasize it's so important to get outside. Maybe mark your calendar and say, I'm going to have lunch outside tomorrow, wherever that may be, because I do know that downtown Norfolk has their restaurant week. Lots of great restaurants are participating. You might want to have lunch outside tomorrow. Even if you just brown bag it, you might have a more easier time doing it than you would later in the week. This dry air that's in the 50s, I mentioned they were in the 40s in the Adirondacks. Some of these areas up in New England have some very dry air, thanks in part to that big area of high pressure, and that was trying, and still is, going to show signs of coming back down as we head toward August. So if you like some cooler weather, less humid air, it's coming. You just got to be patient. By the way, it's 8:05. I'm looking at the numbers. I want to shout out to my friends in Knoxville. If you're here and watching in East Tennessee, this is where I've been for 15 years. I'm coming up on my 6-month mark here in Norfolk, Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach, and North Carolina. They're at 78. They're 76 right now. Beckley, West Virginia, and D.C. currently at 81 degrees. These are current readings here as of 8 o'clock, since we're now past the top of the hour. You can see there's some cool air in Colorado. I'm looking at some cool air maybe in South Florida because it's been raining there. But the hot numbers that jump off the page would be Vegas, Phoenix, and Little Rock. Little Rock's starting to feel very, very hot, and still very hot in Dallas, Texas. They're in the low to mid 90s. This is what's coming our way at the end of the week. Some of you are like, boo, not too happy about that. I got a note from, Wendy. I think Wendy's on here. Is Wendy on here? Oh, there she is. Hi, Wendy. I just want to say hi to you. We're going to circle your and recognize that you're in here. If you're having a conversation and I've missed the second part of the comment, let me know. I'll do my best to put it on the screen, assuming it passes the sniff test if it's on topic. Oh, it is on topic. Here's Wendy's comment. She says, I wish I could win. Very easy to win. Just go to WTKR.com/Marcos, and you'll be put into a random drawing. We'll be giving announcements to not only the pizza winner for a year, but we gave away last Thursday 10 individual pizzas. 10 individual pizzas went out, and it was kind of neat too, because what we were able to do in that instance, Wendy, was basically be able to put kind of like this. Yeah, there it is. We were able to dish out some pizzas on Thursday. That's what we do Thursdays. It's only Tuesday, but you can definitely win by registering and doing that anytime you want. So we would love to have you on in the stream of names, because we had to draw out a lot of names, and we've given away, I believe now, probably between 50 and 75 winners since we started this back at the 19th of May. This is episode, by the way, 32. We've done now 32 episodes. I can't believe it, but we're still moving along. And I want to show you more evidence of the cooler weather that's coming in August. Hard to see here on this image, but this is representative of the 10-day forecast. Notice how the cool air in Canada starts to come down. So all the hot weather gets pushed. As we head toward the next 10 days, it moves back toward Utah and Wyoming and Arizona and New Mexico. But when you suddenly turn yellow and green in New York State, which there's a shade of green here, that's some very cool air. What day is that? Let's see, what day is that? August 1st. Ooh, you said that like last Thursday. I know I did. And the first 10 days of August are going to have opportunities of cooling down. I mean, take this full screen. It's yellow in Virginia. It's yellow all over New Jersey, Delaware, and parts of Maryland. So if I take this full screen, you say, yeah, it looks kind of cool. I mean, if it's going to be cool in August 1st, maybe it could stay like that for the first 7 to 10 days of August. We'll wait and see. That's my expectation. I don't think the heat and humidity that you experience this Friday and Saturday and Sunday, the way that July ends is not how August is going to start. August is going to start much cooler, gentler, and that's why I said these 2 days, today and tomorrow, really is a preview of what's to come. So let me get you through tomorrow. 78, this is almost like a carbon copy. Boy, I'm showing my age. A Xerox copy, maybe that's better. A duplicate copy, copy and paste. It's the same day tomorrow as it was today, because we hit 85, low humidity, east wind 5 to 15, sunrise is at 6:03, goes to bed at 8:19. I believe today it goes to bed tonight at 8:20. So it's 1 minute difference for the sunset tomorrow. And right now it's 8:09. So we have not about 11 minutes left before the sun goes down. And the winds tomorrow, again, keep in mind we got rip currents, but the rip currents will be only if you're in the water and you're trying to swim. And hopefully the lifeguards will be able to guide you there. By the way, 94 Thursday, 94 Friday, hot stuff. right? The normal high today is 90. One thing is that now that we've hit the 22nd of July, the normal high for the 23rd of July is 89. So we are actually moving past some of the hottest days of summer based on averages. So even though we still have some 90-degree days, this is what it's going to feel like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So if that's not your thing, you definitely want to make sure you take care of each other. I see a note from what is this? I guess Kim's talking about something. She says, yes, I'm catching this in midstream. Oop. And she says, I believe he said 30%. Yeah, I have a 30% chance of rain on Sunday. So I don't see it much higher than that. That's one of my next slides. So I'm glad you're way ahead of me, but I'll keep moving so that we finish this up in a reasonable time. I like to keep this under not too long of a live stream, but there it is. The 30% chance of rain appears to be our best chance of rain over the next 5 days. Now, are we worried about drought? No, we covered that. Are we worried about any severe weather? Nope, we don't have any problems there. And we have about a 20% chance of rain on Saturday, but just like we got that strange shower going on right now in Gwynns Island and Gloucester County and southeastern Middlesex County right now, that's like a little spot shower. I left a 10% chance because there's invariably somebody's going to get a little hiccup, and that's what you get, a little shower. Same situation as you can see here, and here. So for the next 3 days, if you got a little dark cloud, you're in more the minority than the majority. Most of us will not have any rain over the next 3 days. And if you need more evidence of that, take a look at this. This is the rainfall forecast between now and Sunday. Can you go out to Sunday? I guess we just did. Right, so here's Sunday through 11, and it's a whopping 0.1. So 1/10 of an inch south side is what the modeling would suggest right now through Sunday. So what is that? A couple of days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. 5 days, not a lot of rain. So you might have to water if you're doing some gardening still. If you have a garden in the backyard or the lawn maybe turning brown in a couple of days, maybe you might want to water it because it's going to get hot and steamy again. But even the rainfall potential over the next couple of days regionally is really not much. 0.1 in Edenton, in Chowan County, Norfolk 0.1, just not a lot of rain. So a lot to take in there for sure. Let's see here. Oh, I got a great note from Sabrina. I want to read this because I love the fact that we have the engagement here. She is reminding all of us that rip current safety again is stay calm, number 1, swim parallel to the shore, to the current, number 2, float, tread, number 3, conserve energy. Yeah, that's the panic sometimes gets over because I've been in them, and I'm sure some of you have been in them. They're listening to me. You've been in them, and they're frightening, right? Let's just call it what it is. Doesn't matter how strong a swimmer you are. But she says signal for help. Yeah, make sure you wave. Another reason why you should know the names of the people around you, right? Whether it be your neighbors, maybe on the beach, you could be friendly. Say, hey, how you doing? You don't have to get too personal, but you could say, hey, if you see me waving out in the ocean, I need help. Maybe they'll come get you. And swim to shore at an angle once you're out of the rip current. I love these suggestions. Sabrina, thank you very much. I want to give her a kudos and a little circle to let her know that we recognize her comments. So I think it's aptly put because we are going into a high risk for rip currents on Wednesday. This is pretty well advertised by our friends at the National Weather Service. Now, the Eastern Shore tomorrow, we can go through that. 83 Onancock and Bloxham, Exmoor 82, Cape Charles 82 if you're in the Outer Banks. As we now hit the 8:13 time frame, 82 for Kill Devil Hills. Manio and Nags Head 82. High UV index. I would not discourage you to go to the beach. Go to the beach. Just know that if you're going to be going any deeper than your toes or ankles in the water, those suggestions from Sabrina are spot on. And about 84 or so, I believe it was 84 in Ocracoke. All right, so our forecast looks like this. We've got the Storm Prediction Center colors, which are really secondary if you are a weather nerd. If you are not, most of us are not. These colors are used repeatedly to suggest isolated, scattered, numerous, and widespread. Isolated is dark green, yellow is scattered, and when you look at what we're dealing with for the rest of tonight, because we have a military a presence here in Hampton Roads. Some of you might have family in Minnesota. They could still have severe weather up here between now and tomorrow morning. And you can see some of these areas back toward Aberdeen, Fargo, Minneapolis might have isolated in green, but the yellow would be scattered severe storms. That's through now, through 8 o'clock tomorrow. It could also affect Atlanta. It could affect South Georgia. We looked at Valdosta. I was joking about Florida, Georgia line if you're a country fan. Panama City could have isolated severe weather, but nothing here locally. That's just a kind of a heads up, bird's eye view. On Wednesday, we've got great weather again here, but again, problems may be found in Wisconsin, southern Minnesota, and if you have flights in and out of maybe Minneapolis or maybe back toward Nebraska, they could have some scattered severe weather tomorrow. Even Denver could have an isolated severe storm on Wednesday. This comes from our PhD friends at Norman, Oklahoma. The Storm Prediction Center does this on a daily basis so that everybody has a heads up of where severe weather may be breaking out. Doesn't look as impressive on Thursday, but there are some green patches. It's persistent around Denver, Colorado, maybe northern parts of New Mexico, parts of Wyoming, but Milwaukee. To be fair, Chicago, big airport. I mean, if you're flying in and out of the airport on Thursday and you're trying to figure out why your flight got delayed, maybe they're dealing with severe weather. Detroit, Michigan's included here. So is Waterloo, but that's it. All right, everybody else in the Mid-Atlantic looks great on Thursday. We'll be warming things up over time. So just going to wrap things up here as I come back on camera. Just to kind of illustrate, Futurecast does suggest a little bit of a shower, kind of as random as the one that's in Winds Island and Gloucester County now, and Middlesex, a little passing shower around Duck. So Duck, tomorrow morning, this is 7 a.m. Doesn't mean you're going to get one, but it would suggest something comes in, maybe slides over toward Ahoskie, or maybe even back toward Suffolk. That's a possibility. But even those things don't look all that organized, so chances are it's just 10% chance. We go into Wednesday at 11, looks good. Now we're starting to see our dew points rise. It's starting to get hotter by Thursday afternoon. Little spot shower for Bertie County. I mean, not much, right? Maybe a drop here up toward Middlesex, 5 o'clock on Thursday. It's just not a lot of rain. Just, I want to point out, I don't think it's a zero everywhere, but it's a stray shower certainly possible. And as far as Wednesday morning, yeah, we're in the low to mid 70s, but not everywhere. There's some 60s here. Oh my goodness. I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. But highs tomorrow, about 84 in Portsmouth, 82 in Cape Charles, about 86 for Ahoskie, Edenton, and 86 for Wakefield. My expectation is Smithfield, 85. 84 for Moyock, Hertford 85, and about 81 for Corolla, high temperature. So we're going to be generally in the low to mid 80s for high temperatures. Inland Virginia, I should say, should be in the low to mid 60s tonight. So it will be a little cooler. We'll say mid 60s for places like Franklin, Suffolk, and maybe back toward Wakefield. But tomorrow, a similar day to what we had today. Here's your first warning, WTKR News 370 forecast. So it's pleasant on Wednesday, turning hotter on Thursday, and then we're back into the summer pattern, right? Friday, 94. Saturday, 94. And I'm telling you, what's on fire for me isn't so much the highs, it's these lows. When you can't get out of the mid to upper 70s, when you're flirting near 80, that's the harder thing to take, especially if you can't sleep at night where the air conditioning is having to work overdrive or overtime just to keep you cool. It's tough. And the best chance of rain clearly is on Sunday at a 30% chance. Could that change? Of course. That's why we're doing another First Warning Live tomorrow. But I'm still holding on to the fact that I think we're going to be in a very cooling pattern first 7 to 10 days of August. I mean, maybe out of the 7 to 10 days, maybe one day's hot and then the rest of them are cool. But on average, first 10 days are going to be a lot like what we had today and what we're going to get tomorrow, which is pleasant, right? Even though the dew points are going to be in the 60s, the lows may not get out of the low 70s, but they really start to climb into the 104, 106. That's just really tough to take. Any other comments? Let me know. Let's see here. I got a note. Maybe I'm catching this in midstream. I said, Taj is like Wendy Smith. Yes, ma'am. Oops, I see Marilyn. Somebody's having a nice one to know. I see you, Wendy Smith, and I see you, Marilyn Bell. Thank you so much for being on here. Appreciate everybody's participation. Let me end with some happy shots because I like to do that. At the end of our 6 o'clock newscast, I like to highlight some of the great photographers that we have in our WTKR Photographers Facebook group. That's what this is. It represents the beauty of last Saturday from our friend Mike in Chesapeake Bay sunrise. Is that not gorgeous? I mean, this is like a picture postcard. Please come visit us. Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach, Northeast, North Carolina, Outer Banks, because we've got so much beauty here too. And you might say, well, I usually go to fill in the blank. Well, maybe you come here. Maybe you are watching here because you have family here. Maybe you got cousin, sister, uncle, brother, a spouse that lives here. Maybe an ex-spouse. Whatever it is, come here. We'd love to see you. Come here and spend some money. Oh, and by the way, a beautiful picture from Virginia Beach. Sunset from Michael. Love it. The fact that he had that beautiful picture. And this one from Pungo. Is this not beautiful? Lisa, thank you for sharing this great picture. The sunset, Pogo, Virginia on Sunday. This was just a couple days ago. She captured this. And I love this. And you know what's also cool? Did I mention we're giving away free cheesy bread? This is even cooler because not only did you endure the last 20, 30, 40 minutes of me talking about weather, but you can also get some free bread. You mean you're going to give us a free bread? Free cheesy bread. First 100 only at contest stores. One per household. No purchase necessary. Super easy. I know Wendy Smith was like, how do I participate? How do I do that? All you have to do is go to marcos.com. And when you get to the checkout window online, you use the promo code WTKR, that's our call letters, and cheesy with a Z, and all of a sudden you're going to have a big box about the size of a personal pan pizza full of cheesy bread with some dipping sauce. Marinara is my personal favorite. You may love it. Maybe you like ranch. I don't know. But whatever it is, you don't have to buy anything. You say, who does that? That's like, we do that because Marcos loves weather, and so you get the benefit, right? You sat through this presentation. It's better than a coupon. Just use the promo code. We do this deal a week. Every deal of the week is different, and so this will work through Saturday. So if you are in the hunger mode Friday night or Saturday night when it's really hot, you say, I want some cheesy bread. If you're in the mood, you can go to Marcos, and I'm sure they would love to be able to dish it out. So there you go. Thank you, Marcos, for being as generous as you are. And we'll end with this, as we've talked about the forecast. The 7-day forecast is on your screen. One more day, my friend. More, please. More, please. Could I have another slice of nice? Yes, you get another slice of nice tomorrow, but then it gradually gets hotter Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And as I've said before, as I'll say again, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny. It doesn't matter if it's serious. Every day, please remember, is a gift. And make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here tomorrow. Take care.